Cheers everyone! I am Madam Flordeliza Ramirez Mahilum, welcoming you to Module 3 of Quarter 3. We have come this far, and so let us continue overcoming the challenges brought to us by COVID-19 pandemic. Module 3 of Quarter 3 will teach you about determining social, moral, and economic issues in listening texts. Before we proceed, let me present to you the objectives of this lesson. After going through this, you are expected to: Number 1. Determine various social, moral, and economic issues discussed in the text listened to. Number 2. Demonstrate understanding in the text listened to. And number 3. Give 3 various issues that are tackled in the text. Let us learn. As a student, you have a lot of opportunities to explore a different culture through reading. This time, you will be indulged with Southeast Asian literature as a mirror to a shared heritage. Let's get neighborly and take a tour with our neighbor's literature, the Cambodian literature. But before we take the tour, let us make a little review of the past lesson. Do you still recall the story, Why Women Wash the Dishes? Is it funny? What do you think are the issues in Why Women Wash the Dishes? Are these issues serious? Why or why not? As we are about to proceed to the narrative, please take time to get familiar with the names that will be mentioned in the narrative. Names like Sophia Sri Sharp, the narrator, Lingsari, Pol Pot, and Nunchia. Now that you are familiar with the names, then you are now ready to listen. While you listen, please observe the various moral, social, and economic issues that are touched by this personal account. A Cambodian Life by Sophia Sri Sharp, born in 1960. The Khmer Rouge is French for Red Khmers. This was the name given to the followers of the Communist Party of Kampuchea in Cambodia. It was formed as a branch of the Vietnam People's Army from North Vietnam. It was the ruling party in Cambodia from 1975 to 1979, led by Pol Pot, Nunchia, Lingsari, Son Se, and Khieu Samphan. It was renamed as Democratic Kampuchea. It joined and allied with North Vietnam, the Viet Cong, and Pathet Lao during the Vietnam War against the anti-communist forces. Pol Pot was a Cambodian communist revolutionary who led the Khmer Rouge from 1963 until 1997. He served as the leader of Cambodia on April 17, 1975, when his forces captured Phnom Penh. He served as the Prime Minister of Democratic Kampuchea in 1976 to 1979. He forced urban dwellers to relocate to the countryside to work in collective farms and forced labor projects during his rule. He is considered a brutal dictator who forced Cambodians to killing fields. He died at the age of 73. The Khmer Rouge was a brutal regime that ruled Cambodia under the leadership of Marxist dictator Pol Pot from 1975 to 1979. Pol Pot's attempt to create a Cambodian master race through social engineering ultimately led to the deaths of more than 2 million people in the Southeast Asian country. Looks like you're now ready to learn more. Now listen closely as your teacher reads the biography of Sophia Sri Sharp, a Cambodian woman who described life in Cambodia during the Civil War. When I was young, my life was easy and I was happy. My father was a customs agent. My parents divorced when I was a baby. I had a brother and a sister. At that time, I had a beautiful life. I could go to school and I had everything I need. In 1970, Cambodia's civil war started. A lot of people were homeless and lost their family. But my family was lucky because we lived in the city and there wasn't much fighting. Although I was young, I felt upset when I saw the people who had lost their family, and I was afraid that my family would get hurt too. Near the end of the war in 1974, my father was sent to work in Battambang province. My brother, my sister, and I stayed in Phnom Penh. My brother was 18, so he could take care of us, and my father sent us money. In 1975, the Civil War ended. All the people were happy and were hopeful. We thought we would have freedom, but we were wrong. The Cameros ordered everyone to evacuate the city. Everyone had to live in the country. My father and my grandparents' family went to the town where they were born. It was about 65 miles from the city to that town. We had to walk all the way. No cars, no buses, no bicycles. We had them, but the Cameros wouldn't let anyone use them. My grandparents' family and my family totaled 15 persons. After 2 days, the Cameros told us we couldn't stay in that town. My uncle had been a second lieutenant in the police. The Cameros took him away, and they said that they wanted to teach him about politics. It wasn't true. They took him and they killed him. We moved to a different place. I thought I would be able to go back to the city and study after a short time. From day to day, I waited. During the Cameros' rule, all the people from the city had to work hard, just like me. I had never worked in the rice fields. When I worked, I was always got criticized by the old people, the people who supported the Cameros. In the Cameros' time, I had only 2 outfits of old clothing. I didn't have a blanket or shoes because the Cameros took everything. My brother and my grandparents' family were killed in 1978 by the Cameros. Now I have only my sister and my cousin. Our lives were very, very hard. In 1979, Vietnamese soldiers went to Cambodia and installed a new government. It was communist too, but better than the Cameros. After that, I lived with my relatives. I wish I could go to school and I could find my father too. In 1981, my sister got married, and in 1985, I applied for a new job. I became a teacher, but my life is still very difficult. In 1990, I met a man whose wife was a friend of my family before the war. They sponsored me to come to the USA. I waited 2 years to be processed by immigration. When I got the news that I could come to the USA, I felt excited. Some of my friends said they felt happy for me, but other friends criticized me because they said I didn't love my country, but I wanted to be happy. On April 9 of 1992, I arrived in Chicago. Everything here is different, so I have to learn American customs and language and learn about the American way of life. But America isn't like I expect it to be. I have been 1 year, but I still can't find a job. But I still hopeful. Now that you're done listening to the selection, I am sure you're ready to answer the following easy questions. Let us practice. Let's do this. Number 1. The listening text is an example of A blank. A. Personal narrative. B. Personal recount. Or C. Factual recount. Number 2. The narrator in a biography is a blank. A. Child. B. Woman. C. Man. Number 3. The biography describes blank. Now let's check your answer. For number 1, the answer is letter A. For number 2, the answer is letter B. And for number 3, the answer is detailed description of a person's life. Let us practice more. Easy, wasn't it? Now let's do this. You can do it. Number 1. The narrator tells that her life as a young child was blank because blank. Number 2. Her life changed when blank. Number 3. The various issues that are tackled in the text are moral issues, social issues, and economic issues. Give at least one example of these 3 issues. Let us remember, through reading and listening to the biography, there are a lot of issues being mentioned. The social, moral, and economic issues. If you were the narrator, how are you going to overcome the social issues? The narrator mentioned that her brother and grandparents' family were killed. What would you do in that kind of situation? The narrator mentioned that she applied for immigration in the USA with the help of her friend living in America. Would you also do the same? Would you leave your country for a greener pasture? The social issues mentioned in the biography tackles about the chaos of the Civil War and the ruthless leadership of the Comoros that almost destroyed the Cambodian people. The moral issues wherein the people got homeless and lost their family, which is very tragic. The economic issues wherein the people were forced to work, even the young children, and where the Comoros took all their clothes, blankets, and shoes. Let us assess. You have learned the various issues that are tackled in the text. Can you draw some of the various issues here in our own country? Like social issues, moral issues, and economic issues. Let us enhance. What is the moral lesson that you have learned and how will you apply it in your life as a student? Let us reflect. That in every challenge that life will take you, learn to dance with it by working hard and keep fighting to achieve your dreams in life. A successful person is a hard-working human being. Never stop dreaming and keep on working for your dreams in life. I am once again Madam Flordeliza Ramirez Mahilum, your English 8 teacher, saying, God bless us all and see you next time. Keep safe, everyone.